Spectacular Sunday, everyone. Welcome to a new edition of Faces of Resilience. This is your host, Furley Almonte. I hope you're staying warm and safe here in New Jersey, actually, where I'm broadcasting from. It's snowing and we're expecting a foot of snow, but I am in, very nice, cozy home, keeping myself warm and safe. Actually, I'm joined today by a really good friend of mine. Well, I'm going to give you a little bit more bragging rights about her. And she's actually streaming from California. Am I correct, Doctor?
Yes, from from
Okay.
uh, kind of cold California.
Yeah, everywhere is I've been hearing that it's been getting cold everywhere, but as I've said, just while you're watching, get your glass of wine, have your cup of coffee or tea, and enjoy what you're going to learn from today. Well, we're still in the midst of a pandemic right now, and times are hard. Whether you are a small business owner or you're a professional, there's a lot of uncertainties that actually fill our hearts and our minds right now, because we do not know how we're going not to only just survive but thrive during this pandemic. But you know what, when you are mentored by somebody who knows exactly how to help you create an edge during challenging times and also begin to thrive and attract your audience, the best clients that you would like to work with, then magic happens. Well, today you're going to learn a lot of different ways that you can begin to change about yourselves, your mind, your behavior, your habits, and your strategy. Perhaps we're going to learn from somebody who's done so phenomenally well with her life, because coming from Thailand, is it Thailand?
Vietnam.
From Vietnam, and look at her, like she's going to tell you her story about how she came from Vietnam and tell you her humble beginnings and how she was able to create a beautiful life for herself and her family here in the United States. Well, let me read to you a little bit about her. This is her bio. It's quite impressive. You know, okay, let's see there. Dr. Emily Letran is a serial entrepreneur, CEO of multiple dental practices, and private coach to many professionals. And as an international speaker, she has been on TEDx. Woo! So many people would love to be on that stage, and shared stages with countless business leaders, including Sharon Lecter, the co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Dr. Howard Farham from Dental Town. She has also been featured on several magazines like Dental Town, as well as in the media, Yahoo Finance, USA Today, and Fox. She is a contributing writer for Dental IQ and Dentistry Today. Dr. Letran is the founder of Exceptional Leverage Inc., host of Action to Win seminars, author of several books, and certified Colby consultant, including um, consultant helping team grow with customized insights to boost performance. Of course, we all would love to be able to achieve peak performance. Why not? If that is what's going to attract abundance. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Faces of Resilience, Dr. Emily Letron. How
Thank
are
you
you?
so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for creating this platform so we can share our stories and our challenge and our strategies to success. And I'm doing okay. I actually just came back from dropping my daughter off at UCLA. She went back.
Oh, yeah.
She came over the weekend, and mom drive back to
I know
school.
you just had a big event in Las Vegas, right? I think that's a massive event because of social distancing. But tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I do 4 events a year called Action to Win. Action obviously means you take action, and it also means appreciation, communication, trust, investment, open-mindedness, and never give up. Those are my business strategies on how to be successful for the past 28 plus years, running professional practices and also doing consulting and speaking and writing. So the event, we usually invite entrepreneurs, business professionals, and we share, personal stories. We share strategies in marketing for building business, strategies on how to build your team, how to keep your team synergy, increase productivity, and a lot of time give a lot of resources. And obviously, we hang out together eating lunch.
That's the best part.
I think, yes, I tell people, yeah, I'm coming to your event. What are we eating?
You know, I can't wait to come to your event because I'm obviously Asian just like you, and I'm a foodie. Because I don't like too much sandwiches or salads, and so when you were talking about eating like like Oriental foods, like wow, that's the kind of like that's the kind of meal I like to have.
Yeah, I did an event not last year, the year before in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, and it was funny because they have those, lunch package, right? You have
Yes.
sandwich and whatever salad, and then I order some chicken rice or something like that. So my my friend, she's a surgeon. She flew in from New Jersey, and she said, usually this is not part of this kind of combo. And I go, yeah, I know. I ordered that because I like to eat that.
I
So
love your events already because, like as I've said, like it's wonderful to eat something other than like like cold sandwich and chips and an apple, perhaps in a box lunch. Yeah, like there's just something very satisfying about like Oriental food, right? So,
right, right,
well,
yeah.
on that note alone, like I know I like you already just because you're a food. Well, first of all, I am so in awe of how inspiring you are because our show is about resilience. There's many of our guests that we bring here have very, very humbling and heartwarming stories of how they started or the challenges they've gone through in life and how they emerge into becoming victorious and very well accomplished. And you certainly are one of those people who've gone through from very humble beginnings here in the US. So why don't you take us on a little walk down memory lane about your story coming to America?
Well, yeah, thank you for asking me that. I think a lot of us who are immigrants, or in my case, refugees, we have a similar story, right? Something happened at home, and next thing you know, you don't have a country, you leave. So in my case, I was only 13 years old. My aunt was escaped from Vietnam, from communist Vietnam. She was taking my older cousin, my older brother, and her kids to escape the draft because Vietnam was going to go to war
Mm-hmm.
with China in the north and Cambodia in the west. And we have just finished with the American War. The Vietnam War just ended
Mm-hmm.
in 1975, and here we are in 1981. Let's go to war again. So my dad actually told me, you're the oldest girl in the family, you need to go help your aunt. And I wasn't going to be drafted, and so I left. I didn't really have an understanding. What I thought was, oh yeah, I'm going to leave with my aunt, I'm going to reunite with my dad. And the the nice thing about being young is you don't know enough to worry, right? Like right now, if you have me leave the country, I'll be, I have 10,000 things to worry about. But as a kid, you don't have enough to worry. So when I left, I was just looking forward to meeting my dad again. I didn't know, 4 months later in the refugee camp, we were in Pulau Bidong in Malaysia, and it's an island, so every day you get in line, you get a bucket of water. That's for the whole family to cook and,
Wow.
use. If you need to take a shower, you get the water from the well. We lived there for 3.5 months. Then we went to a transitional camp, and then we finally came to the United States. So when I came to the United States, I tell people that my luggage were hope and faith, because actually I didn't have anything.
Wow.
And I know with my aunt, she she was, I think, in her 40s at that time. I know there was a lot of worries because she's starting over. For us, the main challenge was the English and also the culture, right? I shared a story of me going to school. The first meal, it was in Louisiana. They put the food in front of me, and it was some steamed rice and a hot dog, or sausage or something, and some broccoli, the kind that they all mash together. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and I don't know what the hot dog is, and I don't know what the broccoli is. So I think I'm just gonna eat the rice.
Oh my
and,
goodness.
and so I was very driven, right? Because I know that we're starting at the bottom. Um, obviously not by choice, but you're in this country, you don't have anything. I remember I went to high school, we got free lunch, but I would be standing in the line looking at some of my friends driving off, and getting food, right? 'Cause they're not going to eat the school lunch. I remember reading the high school newspaper. Somebody was describing French fries from In-N-Out Burger, and I still remember that because I'm like, what is In-N-Out Burger, and how come the fries sound so good? So as as you coming from a background of lack, um, and you're kind of the underdog, right? You got nothing to lose. But I was very, very blessed. I was blessed in the sense that I pick up a book and I read it, and it opened up my mind. I remember picking up the book by Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, right? I read that book, then I went to the reference, and it says Think and Grow Rich. So then I read Think and Grow Rich, and it says, um, somewhere along the line, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read a lot of those books, and I just have that. I learned that, you want to be successful, there's certain things that you need to do. And when I went to school, it was always about, what? I need to get to that next level so I can be in charge. I can have my own business. I can help support the family. And so I finished my undergrad in 3 years and rush, rush, rush. Right? I would go to a friends get together, and they would do a slideshow, right? I'm sitting there watching all the slideshow, and I said, "How come I don't see me in there?" and they and they would say, "But you never came to the parties, right?" And it wasn't that I didn't come to the parties. I went to some of them, but I went to very few, right? Because for me, it was important. On the weekends, I was working, doing work study. At night, obviously, I was studying. I finished undergrad in 3 years, and I went to dental school, and I did a dental degree and a master in oral biology, because I thought I wanted to specialize. So I added that on, right? So people would take 6 years to do the 2 degrees. I took 4 years.
My
So
goodness.
yeah,
Wow.
when my friends were done with their finals, I got two more to study for. So it was that drive. And I know your show is about resilience, right? It's I guess it's easier to be resilient when you're the one that putting that goal in front of yourself, and obviously the goal is inspired by what you want and by what you learn, and by what you see, right? So when I got out, I bought the first dental practice, and then the second one, and then the third one. And I
My,
have I have three children. I'm married. My husband is an engineer, so he leaves in the morning and he comes home in the evening, right? And I'm the one taking the kids to school, pick them up, and then I take them back to the babysitter, or sometimes they go to work with me. And I did that because I made that choice. I want to be in my kids' life. I think the fact that I didn't have my parents in my life for a very, very long time, it's sort of an internal drive, because my dad passed away when I was older, but I never got to see him again after we
mm,
left, because the country, we were in embargo, right? So you couldn't go back to Vietnam. And then
mhm.
my mother had passed away when I was 8. So I always make sure that you can be successful in work, at your work. Um, you could be very ambitious, but at the same time, you want to be ambitious to be that great parent, right? So I brag about me being the best mom in the world, and people,
Well, and don't we want all to be able to say, as a matter of fact, I
right,
always say that if somebody asks me what my favorite role in life is, and that is being a mother, because
right,
that's how you also obviously create a legacy. A few things that I picked up from what you were saying. Okay, first of all, funny how we all, now that we're grown up, we all say like, I wish I was just a kid because you don't have anything to worry about now, because obviously now before you make a decision, any decision involves so many moving parts to it. And then of course the fact that you are just, I admire you so very much, because you speak of so many people, so many immigrants that, you know um actually it's not so much so that the immigrants, but people here in America who may be taking things for granted, such as french fries, like simple things like that, that we were not so familiar of with. And also, things that, they're, for them it's like it's a way of life, but for us, like, oh wow, it's a novelty, because what is this thing that they're giving to me? So it's a whole new experience. And what admire I admire about you is that you're the fact that you're so really like an overachiever, for you to be able to complete your college, your dentistry in such a short accelerated period of time, because you are just very focused and still be able to create a harmonious, they said there's never really is a balance, but more of a harmony of your duties as a parent, as a dentist, being a CEO of several of them, and then still coaching others to thrive in this kind of challenging times. So, first of all, why dentistry?
Why dentistry? You're gonna really laugh. Every time people ask me that, I say I have a really uninspiring story to tell. Well, I finished undergrad in the late '80s, so graduated in '89. But 87, '88, I actually went to college not knowing what I want to do. And my parents were teachers, so when I grew up as a kid, I wanted to be a teacher. When I came to this country, I go, no, I don't want to be a teacher here because it's a little different here. Schools and everything is a little different here. So my aunt had always inspired me to be in healthcare because
Mm.
she was a pharmacist back home. So she said, you know what, go be in healthcare. So I went and I interviewed a couple of pharmacists, and I asked them, what do you do? And they said they counted pills. And I thought that was very boring. That would not work with me. And I was looking into medicine, and I'm sure you remember those days when the doctors were wearing the pager, right, on the side, and then they go beep 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 beep, and everybody looking to the side to see if it's their pager. And I used to hate that because I would be, we would be at a get together with different friends, and some beep would go off, and everybody started checking. um, to me, it's not showing off, because I think you would know if it's your beeper, because it has a little vibration. So I always go, I don't want to have a beeper. I don't want to be that person with that beeper, always trying to check, right? Um, because I don't want to be tied up with work that way. So one of my friends actually came up to me. He was also Vietnamese at a dance, and he said, "Hey, I heard that you wanted to, you were thinking about going into pharmacy, or medicine." And I said, "Yeah, but I haven't made up my mind." And he go, "No, no, no, go be a dentist." and and that was it. That was I go, oh yeah. So I didn't want to be a pharmacy. I didn't want to wear a beeper, so maybe I'll check out dentistry. And I think my only experience with dentistry was having a couple of fillings in my mouth. I think a lot of my friends, either they had a lot of dental work and they were grateful having the dental work, so they go to dentistry, or they have families, right, of dentists. So my aunt's husband used to be a dentist, but a long time ago. So I just went into dentistry, and then I really, really enjoy it for two reasons. Number one is I could be my own boss. I'm not tied in with a hospital, which a lot of doctors they usually are. And knowing me, I'm very spontaneous. I like to do things on my own. I like to break rules sometimes. So I wouldn't fit into the hospital at all, right? And secondly, I joke around. I tell people, hey, I can hurt people and get paid, right? And then they laugh, of course. But you get to build that bond with your patients. I have my first office. I've had it for 24 years, and I have patients who've been with me for 24 years.
Oh,
And
where's that located?
it's in Monrovia, California. It's in Southern California. And the thing is, you get to see three generations. You get to see grandpa, and then you get to see the parent, and then you see the kids growing up. And I think it's such a privilege. I think not a lot of people have that privilege. Whatever your work is, you don't get to build that bond. You don't get to build that story. And I think we're very, very blessed. So, the relationship and the fact that I could be my own boss, that's what I love the most about dentistry.
Like, funny how, like you said about the three generations, because I realized as a doctor, there's pediatrician if you're under 18, right? Like, if
Right, right,
so regardless of whatever, whatever ailment they might have, whatever age group, they get to see you, young, old, or like that. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Now, being the, like, considering the mindset that you have, having to go through your humble beginnings and being able to build this, your children obviously have it much easier, right? And so,
right.
how do you teach them the values that you've actually, um, basically hold very, very dear in your heart, that basically led you to this success?
Okay, you're not gonna like this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, try me.
Brainwashing. I uh, I tell you a story. So I wrote a book about my life. It's called From Refugee to Renaissance Woman. I was encouraged to write a book after I was in a mastermind group, and I was just sharing my story because people were asking, and then I realized that was the first time I was actually sharing my story. Coming from Vietnam and going through all that hardship. So I wrote the book, and I still remember when I was writing the book, my son, the youngest, he kept asking me, "Are you dying? Are you dying?" And I go, "No." Why are you writing your life story? So after I finished writing the book, I told the kids, "You guys have to read it," right? And because instead of me telling them the story, now they get to read it in the book. So they were just, grudgingly read it, right? But nobody said anything. And I remember about a week or two, a couple of weeks after that, I was at work and my daughter called me. It was like in the middle of the afternoon, and I go, "Well, what happened?" And she go, "Oh, mom, I just want to tell you again." And she started crying because she has just read the book. And I said, "Well, you can't wait until 6 o'clock." When mom came home, but I know it made an impression, right? So I always reference some of the experiences, um, explaining to them that things could have been that way, but it is this way now. So you should feel blessing. I When we go back to Vietnam, we visit orphanages. We go to temple, and sometimes the temple supports certain groups, right? So we're giving money, we're giving rice, giving toothbrushes, that kind of thing. We went on a dental mission where I remember in the middle of the thing, it's like, oh, no water coming out from the drill. So we just gonna have to make it, right. And the kids came. They weren't in the clinic, but they were there helping building something. I think they were painting stuff. So I give them the opportunity to experience some of that. But at the same time, the reason I say brainwashing is when you say things, when you do things, they're observing you, right? So they'll pick it up. It will rub on them for sure. I mean, my children at their age, they are more generous than me, right? They give their friends this, and they take their friends to places. Like my daughter would say, I go pick her up in college and undergrad, and she go, "Well, we're also going to drop off my friend at the airport." And I go, "Well, why are we dropping off your friend?" "Well, I already promised her. I know you were coming. So I promised her we're going to take. So they do these things out of their good heart. And I think, I don't actually sit them down and say, "Okay, you should do this." But I think they watch you. And the funniest thing is when my youngest turned 14, he said, "I am so glad I turned 14." And I go, "What do you mean?" And the other two were sitting there. And he said, "Well, because from now on, we don't have to hear you say, 'When I was your age,' at 13 years old coming to this country."
But you know what? Look, you basically exemplified. You were a role model of what it was, not only to become resilient, but to be driven and to be focused and to be motivated by a dream and actually
Uh-huh.
be able to build something. As a matter of fact, like I'm smiling listening to you because I am very much the same way with my daughter. I show her what it should, like at least what I believe is the gold standard in terms of doing certain things when it comes to values, being able to building character most of all, and that you cannot really put a price tag on. So kudos to you, and I'm very happy that, so I'm sure that you have raised very, very good children. Now let's talk about your coaching. Now that like, of course, with the children, you don't get paid for that. It's your duty. So now, how did you venture into coaching?
Well, I've been very blessed learning from very smart people, right? I joined certain organizations and I have the chance to meet certain influencers, and I had the means to invest and to learn from them. I think a lot of time, sometimes life give you the opportunity, right? And but you're not ready, so you're not going to take on the opportunity. So I've been very lucky that I was able to do that. And
Mhm.
then as I'm going on my journey, because everybody have a journey, you start here and you go up somewhere, but I'm with friends or with colleagues, other business owners, and I see them having certain struggles, right? Excuse me.
No problem.
They're having certain struggles, and maybe they are not quite lucky to be close to that mentor or leader. And I feel that I could be that catalyst. I could fill in that gap for them.
Mhm.
And that's why I decided, you know what? I want to spend the time doing the coaching, doing the consulting for the people who are ready for that next step, for their
Who do
growth.
you help? Like, who is the perfect client for you?
Well, the perfect client for me is somebody similar to me. A lot of time it's very interesting that your avatar is pretty much yourself. A business professional could be a man or woman. It doesn't have to be a woman, but you got multiple obligations and you have a lot of opportunities, right? So you have the opportunity to grow. You have the obligation to be there for your family, for your spouse. You have the obligation to your team, your staff. Maybe you are ambitious. You want to be a leading part of the community or to give back to the community. So somebody who have a lot of responsibilities,
Mhm.
somebody who want to grow and are experiencing challenging situations, for example, in growing their team, increasing their income, increasing their profits, positioning themselves in the community or in the world as an authority so that people would look up to you, people look for you, and people want to do business with you. So I would say a good person, a good person for me would be somebody who know that they can be more, and they maybe they're not looking hard enough for the ways on how to be more, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe they feel that they stuck. There are a lot of businesses, and I'm sure you know this. Sometimes they're just stuck at that level, right? Like they do half a million, and then next year they do half a million, and the next year they do half a million. And if they want to make more money, they start trying to cut costs, for example, right? Or if the prices of material rise, and now their net income go down. So, but there are ways to systematically grow your business, where obviously you want to implement marketing, or
Mhm.
maybe you're looking at your team and you say, hey, I have the team members here, they here 8 hours, but are they actually working 8 hours, right? Are they actually producing results for 8 hours? Or maybe they're doing it for 5, and the other 3 hours just sort of passing by, and they're not very, very productive. And so being able to put people on the right task, making sure that they are productive, and then you yourself, you watch yourself. If you say, um, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write, for example, 10 emails. If I don't give myself a time, and I say I'm going to write these 10 emails because it's for whatever reason, today or every Monday or every Sunday, what's going to happen is I'm not going to write the 10 emails, and and then I'm not going to send it out because I'm going to send out whenever I'm done with the 10 emails. So you keep yourself accountable, and it's hard to keep oneself accountable. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We try to take care of the client or the patient and the family, and then when it comes to us, we break promises to ourselves. And that's one of the things that I do is as a coach is always about asking the question, why didn't you do that? Maybe it's not that important to you, right? So that the client has to sit down and assess, why didn't I do this task, right? Because yes, maybe because it's not that important to me, or maybe because I was just too distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in a coaching call with one of my coach, Brendan Bouchard. So he has a marketing mastermind, and he was saying, and I thought it was brilliant. He said, I need you to decrease the ratio of I wonder to I do, right? Because you know what we do? I wonder if I should do this. I wonder if I send this out, if I would get a response. I wonder if I can raise my fees. What you should do is just raise your fee, right?
Let's do it.
Just send the thing out. So he was talking about the ratio of I wonder and what you actually do, and just decrease that ratio, right? So instead of doing one to one, you make it 1 to 10. You just wonder about one thing, but you're gonna go and do the other 10 things. And it's all about taking action. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, I asked my client to take action. I would say 90% of the time people don't take action is because they have a little mental block. There's something stopping them, right? They're not sure, they're uncertain, they lack the courage, maybe they lack the knowledge, they lack the support. Sometimes you just need somebody to push you a little bit, and you're gonna go do it. And as adults, I think we get more, um, like we get more skeptical, right? When I was a kid, it's like, oh, full time is 16 units. Let me just take 20, right? Or 22, and then the school called me. Are you sure you can handle this? And I said, yeah, I think so. They are fit. I'm not thinking about the workload. I'm just looking at the schedule. Hey, it fit in the schedule. It's workable. Now my son want to sign up for pretty much the same thing, and I'm sitting there going, I don't think you should do this. You know. So as adults, we get more skeptical. We think about everything that could go wrong, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes the a coach or consultant, usually the coach is the one that give you a better perspective. Even if get derailed a little bit, but it bring you X result, that would still be better than whatever you are right now. And
Yeah.
I think that different perspective is just is worth millions because
I,
yeah.
I could not agree more because even as a coach, like as a life coach, I always say to people like, okay, there are three steps that you need to make, right? Like you have to make a decision, okay, make a decision, and then when you make that decision, obviously you have to commit. But the second part is actually hire a coach, because oftentimes when you're too close to the situation, you are missing out on a lot of things. And oftentimes somebody who knows more than you do would be able to help you get to where you need to go faster with less mistakes.
Right.
One thing, and of course take massive action. That is very very important, and then you've obviously done that repeatedly. Now, Emily, question. So right now we're in the midst of a pandemic. A lot of business owners are there out right now feeling scared whether they need to close their doors or need to do something different about their business to be able to not only survive but thrive. What is your take on that, and what can you advise these clients?
Well, I think um, I got affected too, as because I have the dentist's office, which is a brick and mortar. So the first the first 3 weeks, like from the middle of March, All of a sudden it's like, oh, you need to shut down your office. So, except for emergency, so I got super bored. I would go to the office every day anyway. And if the phone rang, I would tell the patient to come in. Like somebody's in pain, swelling, that kind of a thing, right? But as time goes by, what I'm looking at is, what can I do to still keep the business going, right? and and to communicate with the patients or the clients, this is what we're doing, this is what we're planning. So if you have a brick and mortar business, and let's say you are supposed to shut down, and you say you're in New York. I mean, in California, we still shut down. Um, a lot of the businesses, like my tenant is a Zumba studio. They've been shut down this whole time, right? Um, they could create an online course,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then reach out to their clients and tell them, hey, we can't be live, so zoom in at this time and watch us, right? That would be one option. Now for dentistry, we can't do that, but I know some of my friends do teledentistry, so the patient may call and they give the advice. We give the advice, and we get compensated for that. But I continuously talk to my patients, right? Emailing them, letting them know this is what we're doing. Um, that we are seeing patients, one patient an hour, we're taking precautions, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If your business can in any way pivot and go to virtual, then definitely now is the time to do that. I know a lot of restaurants when it was shut down, because restaurants here are still shut down. They just reopened yesterday for outdoor dining, right? So it was all shut down, and then outdoor dining, and then shut down again, and now going back to outdoor dining. If they had a list of clients, right, like a birthday list, they could have sent all of these emails or postcards to their clients and, congratulations, it's your birthday. How about pick up this pizza for 20% off? So the key thing is to build up a client list. And if you don't have a client list, if you're going to start right now, then make sure that you're building up that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because at a time like this, what's keeping a lot of people going on is relationship, right? People remember. I got patients who come back, and I'm looking and I go, 10 years, you haven't come back for 10 years. And they say, oh yeah, I move out of town, whatever, and now I move back, and I come back for you. And I will be very honest with you, about 95% of the time I don't remember the patient, because I have a lot of patients, right? So you don't remember. But what you know is you treat everybody right. You Yeah, you take care of them.
Was it
I'm
Maya Angelou said like they may forget what you said or do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel? But obviously,
right.
you have a great, great experience working with you. You know, one of the things that I also say, Emily, is that like for those people who are say for example in a job right now, I myself being an entrepreneur, I used to be able to speak and perform and coach. I could not do that during the pandemic, and quite frankly I am actually very, very happy that I was able to open my eyes, my mind, and my heart to entrepreneurship online. So now I'm able to do my business working from home. So I always suggest to people to have more than just one stream of income, because when
Right.
one closes, at least that your whole world don't fall apart, and you also could find other sources of income. So it's not going to be very easy, but so it takes a lot of creativity, and just like what you were saying. So if you have a business, and then like you actually probably co-brand with somebody, and so that you can cross promote each other. And with you, it's not going to be very easy, because obviously it is a very close proximity, right? Like actually, like, so many people are scared. I even found myself last month to cancel my cleaning because I was scared that it was so close, and like, and this new strain is here in town. And so I said, okay, let me just kind of like wait until this
Mhm.
vaccine is in place, because money is replaceable, obviously, but our lives would not be. And so that is, oftentimes we have to find our priorities, so to speak. And the fact that you're also very, like, you're always very upbeat and, very positive in your ways, and with you, you will thrive whatever it is that you do, because you're just a very driven, person. And I find that really very, very admirable. Well, before we close, could you please give 3 tips on, to people on how to, basically how to achieve high performance, if, say, for example, if they have to start doing something right now that will get them towards the path of high performance, what are the 3 things that they could do from now on?
Okay, before that, I just want to clarify something as far as dentistry is concerned. So one of the thing I do, there are two things that I do with my patients. Number one is I send them a bunch of pictures and a short video that show them how we take care of them, right? Like we sterilize things, we wear certain things, we have a shield, et cetera, right? Which we've already been doing, but people don't think about it. So now all of a sudden they come and they go, well, what are you wearing? I have a patient who called and say, do you have enough PPE? And I go, yes, just come in.
Yeah. I
But
am sure, knowing how particular you are about being able to have, first of all, they would not keep coming back to you after 25 years if they were not satisfied with how well you take care of them.
right. But
And of
the
course,
thing,
you're very responsible in having,
uh-huh.
as a matter of fact, you know what? Late last year, when I went for my cleaning, when I went to my dentist, you feel like there's a contagion, because they have a shield, they have the eyeglass shield, they have the face shield, a mask, how they call that, a gown, the gloves. I mean, like, seriously, very, very. I was very pleased, actually, and I'm sure you are very much the same way.
Yeah, and I also sent out an article from the ADA, the American Dental Association, that says there's not even one case of COVID-19 being contracted at a dental office,
That's
right? So
awesome. That's wonderful to know. That's very reassuring to know.
right, exactly. And it's all about patient education. And just like anything, right? Somebody worry about something, you have a response for it, and you use the source that you know that you can explain. I mean, I don't want to send some report from the CDC and then people ask me 20 questions and I don't know how to answer, right? I want to send it from a place that I know. So it's about leveraging,
Yeah,
right,
Doctor
your information. So
Emily,
yeah,
where are your locations?
I'm in Monrovia and El Monte in Southern California.
And then, what's the name of your dental office?
One is called Foothill Dental Center. That's the one in Monrovia, and the other one's called Mountain View Dental Group.
Oh,
So
that
the three tips. The very
yes.
first, very most important one is having clarity. And clarity is knowing who you are and what's most important to you and what you want. So I'll give you an example. If you don't know what you want, it's going to be very hard to get whatever it is that you want. uh, like I would coach a business owner and they say, I want $1 million business. And I said, why? Don't know. I said, why isn't it 2 million? Don't know. Why isn't it 5 million? Don't know. Right? Oh, I want 1 million because it sounds like my friend has $1 million business. That's why I want it. Because if you don't know why you want it and you don't have a good reason for it, when you hit that first bump of difficulty and challenge, you're gonna give up because it wasn't what you want in the first place. So I
Mm,
think I think clarity is very important.
okay, number two.
Number two is to have high energy. What I mean by that is you need to be able to go through your day, re- preserve your energy. So when you come in to work at 9 o'clock and at 5 o'clock, you're still doing well. You're still giving your customers, your clients, your patients that same energy that they deserve. And then when you go home, you would still have that energy for your family, right? You don't want to be the one dragging your tail home, and you go home and you just want to sit on the sofa, and you don't have time to talk to your kids. You're too tired. You want to go to sleep early, that kind of a thing.
So how
Uh,
do you have sustaining energy?
well, you didn't take care of yourself, for one thing. You, I mean, for years, I mean, 18, 19 years, the last time I calculated, I would eat lunch somewhere between 2 and 4 because that's when I go pick up my kids, right? But it's like I almost never get sick, even though I was eating later, but because that was the schedule, right? So your body gets used to whatever you're doing. So you keep yourself in a rhythm,
Mhm.
right? You eat at a certain time, you eat a certain amount of food. I mean, I'm not the most healthy eating person, right? Because we were just talking about food earlier. But 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 I know enough where hey, I need to eat so I can take care of the next patients. And during the day, you get tired. Like for us, we concentrating. We're wearing these loops. We're concentrating all the time. When they're sitting the next patient, I could be in my room. I have my loops up. I could be closing my eyes, resting my eyes, right? I go drink water, go out and take a walk, right? So so every hour you replenish your energy. You take that quick break, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So you're not gonna get bogged down because
Mm.
you sit there at 9 and by 11 you're not you're tired. I mean everybody is going to be tired like that, but how do you replenish it so that you know after 11 you go take a walk or whatever, you come back and you feel better. I have a doctor one time. He was selling me his charts, right? We were going to buy his office, but the deal didn't go through. So I came back and he said, okay, I'm just going to sell you the charts. And then he goes, so what are you taking? What are you on? And I go, what are you talking about? And he go, no, seriously, what are you on? And I said, I'm not on anything. you know
You know,
so
in Japan, I heard that it's mandatory for them every 4 hours to give their employees 15-minute power nap. That's what I heard. I don't know if that is true, but for I heard that it's mandatory. And very similar to what you're saying. Every now and then you got to give yourself a break, take a walk, get some fresh air, and so because you cannot fill from an empty cup, so to speak. Okay, number three.
yeah, but let me tell you, the thing is, you have to keep yourself accountable because a lot of us we're business owners. So I don't think our staff is going to remind us to go take a break, right? We need to go take a break ourselves. We need to keep ourselves on that schedule. Number three is to be productive. And when I say productive, I don't mean big checklists. I check everything off, right? I mean being productive toward a result. So do this exercise. Whatever your job is, you're a business owner. I want you to write down everything you do during the day. Okay. So I mean, if you're a dentist, then just put do dentistry. Don't list all the procedures, right? So when you wake up, do maybe you check the email, whatever it is, like you do, whatever you do during your working day, your 8 hours working day. Then I want you to put a check mark next to the one that actually bring in money.
Mm.
Okay. So let's say for a dentist, the only time you make the money is when you're working in somebody's mouth, right? If I'm talking to a salesman, I don't think I'm making money. I'm probably spending money, right? If I'm talking to a colleague, I don't think I'm making money. If I'm going to go and watch a video about some kind of training, I'm not making money, correct? Right. I'm busy though. It's on my schedule. So, all these check. So write up the list. I want you to check mark next to the one that help you make money, actually have a direct correlation to bring in an income. And then I want you to circle the one that you are the only person that could do that. Okay.
Mm.
So a lot of time when people do this exercise, what happens is they write out 10 things and they only check 3 things and they only circle 2 things. So they actually should only do the two the 2 things that are circled that bring in money, right? Now, so the rest of them, what do you do with it? Well,
Delegate.
you delegate it, right? Or maybe it should not be there every day. Maybe you should not like give it that time slot. Maybe it's not as important. I heard this from Joe Polish, who is a business consultant. People have a to-do list. He's talking about a not to-do list, right? Things that you don't do, you shouldn't do.
Mm.
And when you get very intentional, and that's one of my favorite words is being intentional. Being intentional, I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Right? Like what does it spring? It's different than if I say, you know what, I'm gonna take 30 minutes, I'm gonna go read some Vietnamese poem, right? Like it has nothing to do with anything, it's my time, right? I was on Clubhouse earlier this morning, and I was talking to this young lady from Taiwan, and I was telling her, yeah, I used to read these love novels from this one, Taiwanese author. There's certain times when you do things that it's just for you to enjoy. I'm not talking about those times. I'm talking about the time that you say you're working, that is in your schedule, but it's not really creating results, right? It is work, it is part of work, but what are the results we're looking for? And if you just focus on the tasks that actually produce that result, you're gonna find that you shouldn't be that busy, that you could be more productive than you think you are, and you actually should have more time. I have a slide in one of my presentations that say if you save 5 minutes an hour, if you just shave off 5 minutes in an 8 hours day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, if you actually intentionally save 5 minutes an hour, you're going to win back 1 month of free time.
Wow, that's very very powerful. Oh, that like I hope you took note of that because that's absolutely, and it's only 5 minutes per hour that you save. Wow, over 5 years, did you say?
No, over 1 year. It's like if you do one 5 minutes per hour and you work 8 hours, right? And then you work 5 days a week and you work 50 weeks a year, right? But if you actually multiply all those numbers, it ends up to winning. Like you could actually get back 160 hours, which is
Wow,
which
that's
is
quite
which is
powerful.
four which is 4 weeks, 4 work weeks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, okay, there are some, like small business owners and entrepreneurs that would love to learn more about you and be coached by you. And if they would like to consult with you, how can they reach you?
Okay, well, I can give you a number.
Okay, you can say
A
it.
number they can text it to. Okay, and the number is 626-298-7587, and they can text the word Furley, your name, Ferlie. Text that to me, and I will reach out and let them know. I can offer them a 30 minutes consultation.
Wow.
Bring a challenge, we'll solve it together. And because as a coach, remember, as a coach, we're going to ask the person
Yeah,
to think and
I
solve.
hope you guys are listening. If you are a small business owner, Dr. Letran is actually offering you 30 minutes free coaching. And so actually she's asking you bring the challenge that you're going through in your business right now. And I hope you took down the telephone number. Otherwise, we're putting it in the chat, and just put in Furley, and she would know that it's a 30-minute complimentary. It doesn't get any better than that. That is super priceless. What a great gift for you to share with all of these people who are struggling right now. So many tips. Actually, like, listen to this again because you will learn so many life lessons embedded on this segment. Dr.
Yeah,
Letran,
and it's yes.
I mean, I just wanted to thank you because this is an absolute blessing to so many people out there, feeling unsure, have no clarity. And now that you're saying, like, basically live intentionally. And when you are intentional about what you do, you're able to gain time, and also begin to bring success into your life. So, obviously, as you can very well see, she's a high performance achiever in so many levels. And also at the same time, she is very passionate about coaching others to do exactly the same. So, any last words before we go?
Well, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. It's very refreshing. I'm very honored to be on the platform. People sometimes, I'm sure nobody asked you to do this. You take it upon yourself, and
Yes.
to give back, to give to share your expertise and the expertise of others. And I really think that's wonderful. I would invite, you have a business, you have a project, to seek support. And by support, I mean help with a coach or consultant. There is no shortage of information. You Google anything and something's going to come up. But why haven't you done it? Right? And that's where a coach or consultant come in to give you a little nudge, to give you a different perspective, to tell you that, you know what, you should try this, instead of you sitting there and saying, I wonder if I should do this. What if I fail? That kind of a thing. Because I've been through that journey. I've learned to be the dentist. I've learned to be a speaker. I've learned to be a coach, and I know that when you have the support, things happen real quick, and it happened with great results. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. You know, as what they always say, applied knowledge. Because there's no shortage of information, but you don't apply it, then it's really nothing. And so
Right.
sometimes you need a little, nudge, a little helping hand to be able to make you see how you can best apply the knowledge that you know, so you can begin to embrace the blessings and the greatness that you were born to do. So, whoa, this is an absolutely wonderful segment. I've learned a lot. I got very, very inspired. I love you even more.
Thank you.
Respect you, and of course, one day I hope that we could share some Oriental food together, because we will both enjoy it very, very much. Okay, and I look forward
Yes,
to
thank you.
share the stage with you. All right, so. Thank you so also very much for joining us, on behalf of Dr. Emily Letran. This is Furley Almonte, your host for Faces of Resilience. Hoping to inspire you. Remember, pain is global, hope is universal, resilience ignites solutions. Until then, take care of yourself, stay well, and stay healthy. Bye bye.
Thank you.